Longtime viewers of this channel know if I don't have any background music in one of my videos,
it's gonna be some shit! Some shit's about to go down.
Shout out to Dalton Good for tweeting this story. I had completely forgotten about this. I completely forgot about this story, and some of you clicking on this video are probably thinking this is clickbait. Trust me, it's not. It's all real. We have multiple articles and an archived news clip from the Associated Press's YouTube channel. It's absolutely insane what happened, and it makes me look back on the 2011 and 2012 NASCAR seasons a little bit differently. Anyways, let's get to it. Michigan woman watched NASCAR with dead friend for months.
An elderly Michigan woman says she kept the body of her dead companion in a chair for more than a year because she didn't want to be alone.
Linda Chase and Charles Ziegler were roommates in a house in Jackson, Michigan. Some articles even went as far as to say they were dating, but from what I found, that wasn't the case. They were just simply friends living together. Not only were they good friends, but they happened to have a common interest. Both happened to be diehard NASCAR fans, and every single Sunday, they would watch the races together. That's about it for the positives of this story. What happens next takes an extremely dark turn because the 2010 Ford 400 would turn out to be the last race Charles Ziegler would ever watch. In December of 2010, he would sadly pass away of natural causes. Linda was absolutely heartbroken. Not only was this a friend, he was the only guy who was ever nice to her. Charles Ziegler, who at one point served his country in the Army, was 67 years old. From the sounds of it, Linda didn't have too many friends and family left on this earth. She didn't want to be alone and decided not to contact the authorities. Instead, she decided to take care of the dead body.
I know I should have called the ambulance. I know that. I know that in my heart. I know that. I didn't do it to be evil.
That's so crazy and disgusting. Like, I get the vibe that I'm supposed to feel bad for this woman, but I don't care how lonely and depressed you are. If you are living in a house, especially a small one like that, with a dead freaking body, you've completely lost it. And from the sounds of it, she had a hard life growing up. The depression and loneliness feeling is something we can all relate to, but what most of us can't relate to is keeping a dead fucking body in our house. And if this couldn't get any worse, she doesn't even let his own family know that he has passed. Living with the corpse is already disrespectful enough to your so-called good friend, but now you're not letting the family of that good friend know that he has passed away? Again, let me point out, we can all relate to feelings of depression and loneliness. This, however, is immoral, and we shouldn't be using those feelings as an excuse for Linda living with a freaking corpse.
72-year-old Linda Chase says she kept her companion's remains clean. She dressed and talked to the body of Charles Ziegler while watching NASCAR on television.
From the 2011 Daytona 500 to the middle of the 2012 NASCAR season, she watched every single race with the corpse of Charles Ziegler. So the next time you watch any single race from that time span I mentioned, always remember they were watching along with you. I know this is gonna ruin the 2011 and 2012 NASCAR seasons to some extent. Now watching the races, knowing that there was this old lady watching the races from start to finish with a corpse. It's the most insane fan story in NASCAR history, and it's not even close.
Ziegler's relatives are upset, claiming Chase blocked their attempts to get in touch with the elderly man.
She would come up with excuses why he could not come to the phone, or he just went to the store, or he's sleeping, or he's in the shower, or things of that nature. She's fully aware of what she has done, and she is not fully aware of the damage and the suffering that she is causing our family.
Eventually, the jig was going to be up at some point. After a year and a half of repeated attempts to visit him, his niece Barb finally called 911 on July 6th, which means the 2012 Quaker State 400 was the last Cup Series race the two watched together, and this was also on the night of Kurt Busch's upset victory with Phoenix Racing. I'm sorry, I know I'm ruining so many races now. Jackson police went to the house and discovered the corpse of Charles Ziegler. Once it was discovered, Linda didn't try to lie about anything. She admitted that she had kept and tended to the body and revealed she had cashed Ziegler's social security checks after he passed away. You would think the police would make an immediate arrest, but as you can tell from the news clips, no. After she cooperated, they took the body and went about their day. In fact, she was never arrested, but eventually, nearly a month later, she was charged with forgery. In those 18 months, she had collected well over $28,000 worth of fraudulent checks. She was facing up to 14 years in prison, but with no previous criminal record. She was sentenced to probation and mental health treatment. The only real punishment was having to pay over $28,000 in restitution. In the grand scheme of things, she got away scot-free. It's absolutely crazy she didn't get charged with anything else. Not even a little bit of jail time after keeping a dead corpse in your house for 18 months, collecting fraudulent checks, hiding the body from the family whenever they would come over to try and visit, and all you receive is probation, mental health treatment, and have to pay the government back. Only in America.
For over a year and a half, Chase says they would watch NASCAR, shocker, and just talk. She would even wash him daily to prevent the body from smelling. Ugh, the upkeep on dead bodies. But it's weird they just sat around. Usually, the corpse and crazy person duo go into the hospitality industry together, like Norman Bates and his mama.
It's unfortunate that Charles Ziegler is always going to be remembered now as the dead corpse NASCAR guy, all because of his mentally insane roommate. I couldn't find if Linda was still dead or alive over a decade later, so if anybody is able to, let me know down in the comments below. In conclusion, this is the most insane NASCAR fan story for obvious reasons. This is not what the term diehard fans meant at all, Linda. Not even close. And once again, that'll do it for another video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time.